Thank you, Rachel. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very excited to present the results of an applied research study that Rachel and I and our colleague Ryan Eisner conducted in partnership with the Multilingual Multicultural Education Department at Cleveland Metro School District. The characteristics associated with academic performance and English language proficiency among English learner students. Hopefully I have control of the slides. There we go. So this study's aim was to answer the following three research questions. We wanted to know what were the characteristics of English learner students and of the schools that they attended each year between the 2011-12 and 2016-17 school years. We also wanted to know what were the patterns of performance on statewide math and ELA assessments and the English proficiency exam among English learner students in each of these years. And finally, we wanted to know which student and school characteristics were associated with math and ELA performance and English language proficiency levels just in 2016-17 after other student and school characteristics were accounted for. So now I'll highlight some of our results. As the district expected, the study found a decreasing percentage of English learner students represented in the Spanish-speaking group. There was an increase in the percentage of students speaking Arabic or an African language, and the percentage of students speaking other languages didn't really appear to change. Further, consistent with empirical findings from other locations, English learner students scored below the district average in every year in ELA. But in math, however, they scored more similarly to other students in the district, as you might expect, and their relative performance fluctuated from year to year. These fluctuations coincided with changes in the state assessment, which suggests that the change in tests might have affected English learner students differently from other students. Not shown here, we also looked at the English language proficiency levels. The state also had a change in the assessment over the study window for English language proficiency tests. With each assessment, though, the distribution of students across proficiency levels was generally stable, which suggests that even as the composition of students was changing in terms of their native language, their English proficiency was not clearly changing. So the study team received information about the full-time equivalent, or FTE, status of certified ESL teachers and bilingual paraprofessionals at each school. We divided the total number of English learner students in a school by these FTE rates for each school and associated these ratios with student performance. So we note that these relationships were not consistent across outcomes. But as you see here, English language proficiency, the speaking score was negatively associated with the number of ESL teachers in the school, and the math test on the Ohio State test was negatively associated with the number of bilingual paraprofessionals. While not shown, the study also found that large schools and schools with a higher percentage of Spanish-speaking students were associated with higher math achievement. Schools with higher percentages of Spanish-speaking English learner students was also associated with a higher English proficiency, but the percentage of students who were English learners overall in a school was associated with lower English proficiency, as you might expect. Okay. So in the district, CMSD asks students in grades 2 through 12 to complete surveys on school climate twice a year, and this is called the Conditions for Learning Survey. Student reports are aggregated into school-wide measures based on the 4 domains that you see here: academic rigor, safe and respectful climate, peer social emotional learning, and supportive learning environments. So we associated these domains of school climate with English learner student performance and found positive associations with English language arts performance, speaking proficiency, and listening proficiency. So now let's turn to some implications of our findings for schools. So schools might consider how a positive school climate can help support English language development in addition to other outcomes. Schools also might learn best practices at successful schools for supporting school climate. For example, we saw higher school climate or more positive school climate at the Newcomer Academy in Cleveland, so it may be valuable for other schools to know what programs, strategies, and policies are in place there that may promote the conditions for learning in that school. And then finally, schools might assess whether they have sufficient staff who are trained to support English learners. So for more information, I invite you all to read the full report as well as to watch our documentary on academic supports for English learners in the district. And I believe you can find the links to each of those in the chat box. Also, to keep up with what's new and exciting from REL Midwest, we encourage you to sign up for our newsletter and to follow us on Twitter. And please check out our infographic that is based on this report. In addition to producing this report, or this resource in English, we also will soon have versions of this infographic available in Spanish, Arabic, Swahili, and Somali, which is a specific ask that the district had for us so they could reach out to the parents of their English learners. So that is it for me, and thank you very much.